What was it about 70s rock bands that made their live shows so memorable? Rock in the 70s was raw, loud, and larger than life. Bands didn't simply play songs, the big bands in the 70s were doing new things. Lasers, pyrotechnics, smoke, lights that just weren't being done before then. With roaring guitars, pounding drums, and fists raised high, arena rock was born. At Guitars and Hearts, we turn back the volume to relive the anthems that still echo today. You might think We Will Rock You is overplayed today, but back in 1977 it hit like a thunderclap, an instant, undeniable classic. Featured on Queen's News of the World album, the Brian May penned anthem broke every rule of rock. No drums, no guitars at first, just stomps, claps, and Freddie Mercury's commanding voice. Yeah, do it! Until a final burst of guitar closed the track. The idea came after Queen heard fans singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" at a show, inspiring them to create a chant the whole world could join. And it worked. Over the years, its power only grew. In 1992, Axl Rose tore into it at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert. In 2000, boy band Five scored a hit with May and Taylor guesting. In 2004, Britney Spears, Beyoncé, and Pink revived it in a Pepsi ad. We will rock you. Whether echoing in stadiums or shouted from the bleachers, "We Will Rock You" remains a global rallying cry. We will, we will. Your turn! All right! Next up is this song by Alice Cooper. Blasting onto the scene in the summer of 1972, School's Out wasn't just another rock single. It was a moment every kid could instantly connect with. Think about it. That last day of school, the countdown to freedom, the rush of knowing summer was finally here. Alice Cooper captured that feeling perfectly. When someone asked him what the greatest 3 minutes of life were, his answer was simple: Christmas morning and the last day of school. From that spark came a song that was both rebellious and celebratory, built on gritty guitars, sneering vocals, and that unforgettable school bell ringing into chaos. The world responded in kind. School's Out shot to #1 in the UK and gave Alice his first major hit in America. Yet its impact goes beyond charts. Decades later, the track still returns every June, not just as music, but as a tradition of pure, untamed freedom. Did you know that Smoke on the Water was inspired by a real fire that burned down a casino? In December 1971, Deep Purple were in Montreux, Switzerland, ready to record when disaster struck. During a Frank Zappa concert, a fan fired a flare gun into the ceiling of the Montreux casino, and the entire venue went up in flames. Out of that chaos came one of rock's most iconic anthems. Ritchie Blackmore built its unforgettable 4-note riff on the G minor blues scale, played fingerstyle on a Fender Stratocaster, and doubled by John Lord's distorted Hammond organ. Blackmore even joked it was his upside-down take on Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. At first, no one expected it to become a hit, but by 1973, it had climbed to #4 on the Billboard Hot 100. Decades later, with thousands of fans playing it in unison, Smoke on the Water remains the riff that truly echoes forever. I can't think of a better example of a band capturing their entire identity in one song than Kiss with Rock and Roll All Night. Before it became their anthem, it was really a challenge. They needed something that would light up the crowd and define who they were. Released in 1975 on the Dress to Kill album, the studio version barely cracked the charts, peaking at #68. But when they released the live version later that year, everything changed. It shot to #12 and became their breakthrough hit. Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons wrote it on the road during the Hotter Than Hell tour, pulling inspiration from Slade's Mama, We're All Crazy Now. Simmons even recycled bits from an older track, while Stanley delivered that iconic chorus with a chorus of friends and family shouting behind him. Over time, it became their ultimate closer, a party anthem that never fades. Rock songs stir up emotion and nostalgia, quite like Boston's More Than a Feeling. Released in September 1976 as the opening track of their debut album, it wasn't just a song, it was a statement of what arena rock could be. Tom Scholz spent years perfecting every note in his basement studio, crafting a masterpiece where soaring vocals, melodic guitar riffs, and heartfelt lyrics collided. When Brad Delp's voice soared into the chorus, it wasn't just heard, it was felt, echoing through stadiums like a shared memory of love and longing. Fans connected instantly, and the song shot to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, cementing its place on classic rock radio forever. Even Nirvana nodded to its iconic riff during Smells Like Teen Spirit. From political campaigns to emotional TV tributes, More Than a Feeling shook arenas, because it gave people something bigger than music. It gave them a memory.
Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done.
Now, the next song marked the turning point for Kansas, and I have to say, Carry On Wayward Son has always felt like more than just a hit to me. Released in 1976, it was written by guitarist Kerry Livgren during a period of deep spiritual searching, and you can hear that personal struggle in every word. When Steve Walsh's soaring vocals rise over that unforgettable riff, it feels less like a performance and more like a message, a reminder to keep pushing forward even when life feels overwhelming. The song climbed to number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 in early 1977, but its impact goes way beyond the charts. Whether you first heard it blasting out of a Camaro's speakers or rediscovered it decades later on classic rock radio, Carry On Wayward Son still resonates. It speaks to seekers, dreamers, and anyone who's ever needed encouragement to keep going.
I paid my dues, time after time.
When we talk about timeless stadium anthems, We Are the Champions is always near the top. Released in 1977 on Queen's News of the World album, Freddie Mercury wrote it as a bold, defiant celebration of perseverance and triumph.
We are the champions, my friend.
From the very first piano chords, you can feel the weight of his words, lifted even higher by Brian May's soaring guitar and the band's rich harmonies. It wasn't just about winning, it was about surviving, enduring, and celebrating together. The song climbed to number 2 in the UK and number 4 in the US, quickly becoming a global anthem. It's been the soundtrack to countless victories, from stadiums to award shows, and it reached its peak in Queen's unforgettable Live Aid performance in 1985. And decades later, the band reimagined it with Adam Lambert to honor frontline workers during COVID-19. We Are the Champions isn't just Queen's song, it's the world's victory chant.
We are the champions.
Back in 1976, Blue Oyster Cult released Don't Fear the Reaper, and honestly, it's one of those songs that just sticks with you. It's more than a rock anthem, it's a little haunting, almost like a reflection on life and death. Guitarist Donald Buck Dharma Roser wrote it while thinking about his own mortality. But instead of making it dark, he spun it into something beautiful. The idea was that love doesn't really end, even when we do. That's where those unforgettable lines come in. Romeo and Juliet are together in eternity. Pretty heavy stuff for a rock single, right? And yet, people connected with it. The song climbed all the way to number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became the band's signature hit. Decades later, it's still a classic, and yes, we can't forget the SNL sketch, because at the end of the day, everyone agrees it definitely needed more cowbell. Here's a wild fact. Freebird was originally written as a slow ballad, and Lynyrd Skynyrd's record label begged the band to cut its length. They refused, and thank goodness they did.
And this word you cannot change.
Released in 1973 on their debut album, the song begins tenderly, with Ronnie Van Zant's heartfelt vocals carrying that unforgettable opening line, "If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me?" But halfway through, it transforms into one of the most iconic, extended guitar solos in rock history. Written by guitarist Alan Collins and Van Zant, Freebird captured the essence of Southern rock, freedom, emotion, and fire. It only peaked at number 19 on the Billboard Hot 100, but its influence went far beyond chart numbers. From its emotional use in Forrest Gump to endless live tributes, stretching past 14 minutes, Freebird became more than a song. It turned into rock's ultimate cry for freedom. Highway to Hell is pure rock defiance, loud, gritty, and unforgettable. Released in 1979 as the lead single and opener to AC/DC's album of the same name, it was written by Angus and Malcolm Young with Bon Scott, who poured his sneer and swagger into every line. The title came straight from the band's grueling life on the road and from Canning Highway in Perth, a stretch lined with Bon's favorite bars. With its iconic riff, pounding rhythm, and raw energy, the song became an instant hard rock anthem. Fans witnessed its fury in legendary live shows. Tragically, Bon Scott died only 6 months after its release, giving the track even more weight. More than 40 years later, Highway to Hell still blasts through speakers with the same unstoppable power, a fearless declaration of rock and roll. Want to relive it? Check out the concert film Let There Be Rock and the documented live show at Donington in 1991. Arena rock wasn't just music, it was a movement. These anthems shook stadiums, united strangers, and defined a generation. Decades later, they still echo with the same fire. Turn them up, feel the roar, and let the legends live on. What's your ultimate 70s rock anthem?